Thursday, September 12th. I'm Chris Allen here on the Sam Channel, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and X, all sponsored by Ace Hardware Marketplace. Well, we've got, for a change, cloud cover this morning. Clouds out ahead of a system that is what? Well, it's Tropical Storm Francine. And it is continuing to downgrade after becoming a Category 2 hurricane briefly. But it is throwing down some big-time rain, and these are the projections for rainfall here in southern Kentucky and the surrounding Mid-South region as we go through the next 5 days. And it does look like there is a chance of rain every single day, starting today and going at least through Tuesday. Yeah. So it's not going to rain continuously, but there are going to be those times when the rain comes down kind of hard. And there will be a few thunderstorms. I'm not really looking at severe weather, but as you can see by this QPF chart, this kind of shows where the rains are going to be the heaviest. And you can see as that remnant low pressure system just kind of rides right up the Mississippi River, we're going to be on the east side of that low pressure system, tropical low. And so therefore, we're going to get some pretty decent rainfall, something that we desperately need. The QPF, which stands for Quantitative Precipitation Forecast. In other words, it's a forecast of how much rain we think that we're going to get. And it still looks like in that kind of a deep red area, we're going to see maybe 3 inches of rain, certainly 2.5 to maybe 3.5 inches of rain. And then you start to see some of these 4s around the Nashville area up to about the land between the lakes. And then the possibility of 5 and even 6 inches of rain as you head south of Nashville through southern Tennessee, northern Alabama, central Alabama looks to be where some of the heaviest of rains are going to be. But the good news is this is all spread out over the span of 5 days. It's not going to come all at once. If it came all at once, we would have some big flooding issues, but it's going to be spread out over the next few days because that low pressure system that was Francine is going to just linger in this area that you see. And it's just going to sit and spin. And even though it's going to lose a lot of its strength, it can still bring some gusty wind and occasionally some rain. And some of the rain at times could even be a little bit on the heavy side, but, rain is something that we really, really need. So this is good in that regard. And even better news that we won't have to deal with flooding. I do not believe that we'll see any kind of flooding problems coming out of this particular system. All right, let's go to the radar and I can begin to show you, even though we've got clouds this morning, there's nothing here going on in the Bowling Green, southern Kentucky area. But you can see some of the outer rain bands now beginning to affect places like Memphis, Jackson, Tennessee, Huntsville, Alabama. Those kind of places are starting to see light to occasionally moderate rainfall. And as you can see here, just southwest of the Nashville area in Murfreesboro, Tennessee, as you go down I-65, those are flood watches out for parts of southwestern Middle Tennessee, and then wind advisory plus the flood watch out for much of western Tennessee, I should say, eastern Arkansas, down into Mississippi and Alabama. All of those brown or tan shaded counties are for high winds, gusty winds as the rain comes in. So yeah, all of this is headed north, as you can tell, and this will be here sometime mid-afternoon into this evening, and the winds are going to pick up today. That's another component of all of this, as what's left over of Francine continues to move through parts of Mississippi right now. Look at that. There are several tornado warnings, or flash flood warnings, I should say, and wind advisories. There have been some tornado warnings, tornado watch going on in parts of Florida, the Panhandle. There have been a couple of warnings out with this area this morning. So it's a pretty big wound up system. Like I said, it's tropical storm strength, but about to just go down to tropical depression strength as it continues to move up through Mississippi and eventually coming into our area as we go through the day. So this is the dry period that we're going to see for now for a few hours. And then all of that begins to, the outer bands that you see in southern Tennessee are going to begin to push into southern Kentucky as we get on into the afternoon and evening hours. And then it's going to be periods of rain and wind as we go through the next couple of days, maybe even longer than that, it appears, as that system is just going to sit and spin and linger over the area. That's good news for us, and that we will get the benefit of some good rainfall, which is something that is perfect timing for us. Here's a look at temperatures. A bit warmer this morning underneath the clouds and a little more humidity. You can see that we're more into the low to mid 60s, even some upper 60s back west. The dew points have climbed into the upper 50s to low 60s. And as far as the wind, it will start to pick up. Now, right now, things are pretty calm. A light wind coming mainly from the east, but it's going to pick up even more from the east with winds of, 15 to 20, 25 to 30 as we get on into the next 24 hours. So even though we have the clouds, you see no rainfall recorded anywhere yet across the Kentucky Mesonet network, but it's coming. And you'll start to soon see some 1 and 2 and maybe 3-inch rainfall totals over the next 4 or 5 days here in southern Kentucky, which would just be, I don't know that it's going to be a drought buster, but it's going to be awful close. We're going to get awful close to just totally getting rid of that drought that we're in right now. This should help out in a big, big way. All right, let's check the model blender. And I'm going to go with 83, which they have here on the blend of models for today, and 63 to 65 tonight as the rain comes down. There could even be a few rumbles of thunder, but I'm not really looking for severe weather out of this, even though there is a lot of spin, rotation in the atmosphere. There's not a lot of instability, so that's good in that it should keep severe weather threats down. But there can also be a damaging wind. We get some of these winds being transported out of the remnants of Francine. Well, I mean, you could have some small limbs go down, or a small tree or something like that if the winds get gusty enough. Tomorrow, rainy and 81 to 83, then upper 70s for Saturday and Sunday with rain, yes, through the weekend. And even into Monday and Tuesday of next week, there is still a chance of a few showers, and we head back into the low to mid 80s. Then it's mostly in the mid 80s for the rest of next week into next weekend. But those temperatures are pretty much right on the money for where we're supposed to be for normal this time of the year, which is about 85, soon 84, as we trickle down then to 83 by the end of that period that you see there. So temperatures will be just at normal, just right about normal for this time of the year. Then I do foresee, as we head into not next week, but the following week, we'll start to see things coming down even more as we begin to look toward the end of September and the beginning of October, as some of that fall air will soon be moving in permanently with an occasional warm day here and there, but that's about it. Okay, let's take a look at the maps, and I'll show you how all of this is going to progress northward as we go through the day. There's that, what I like to call, it's like a straw. It's a disturbance. It's a wave in the atmosphere that is almost like a straw siphoning up the moisture from the south. There are the outer rain bands associated with Francine. And as it continues to move northward, well, so does the rain. And we're even looking at, this is 7 o'clock tonight, some of the heavier rain will start to move over the Bowling Green, southern Kentucky area as we get into tonight and tomorrow. There's the remnant low coming in to about Memphis, Tennessee. And here we go through the day tomorrow, periods of rain and thunderstorms as we get into Friday morning, Friday evening. There's the low over Arkansas and the Missouri Boot Heel, continuing just to sit there and drift over that same area. And we continue to get rain. This is Saturday. And here comes Sunday. And here comes Monday. You see a pattern here? Tuesday. Oh, we begin to see the rains pulling off to the east. And by Wednesday, excuse me, we see the rains tapering off. Now, at about the same time that the leftovers of Francine are weakening, here comes an offshore system that looks, because of a low pressure system is going to form and move over the Carolinas, which is tropical in nature. And that's going to try to throw moisture back into the places where the leftovers of Francine will move. And so what happens there is a lot of that rain may not make it over the Smoky Mountains. Therefore, we may not see anything out of that. But by Wednesday into Thursday of next week, if this low tracks a little further inland, then it would bring us more rain by next Thursday and Friday. So we'll watch that. Plus, you see back to the west of us, a cold front and another area of rain. So while we've been in this rain drought for a pretty good while now, it looks like we're going to see better opportunity to get some badly needed rain in here, which is a blessing. As I said yesterday, it's going to be a blessing to get this rain. It's not going to come all at once. Therefore, I'm not too concerned about flooding, although we may have a few flood advisories or temporary flood warnings along some of the rivers, or if it really comes down hard and some of these cells stay over the same place for a long time, then maybe we'll run into those issues, but they would be temporary. That additional 2.5 to 3 to 3.5 inches of rain that we're looking to pick up, that's over a 5-day span. And if we can keep it like that, then we won't see flooding issues. We'll see some higher water, but we won't see necessarily flooding in the area, which is good news on top of good news. All right. That does it for this morning. Thanks to everybody that's in the chat box this morning and watching online and or watching later in the day. The current time that I'm doing this is 5 minutes before 8 o'clock, 7:55 Central Time. So if you're watching this later, you'll know what time all of this was current, and then you can kind of judge from there on how things are going to progress throughout the day, tonight, and the next few days. Speaking of that, I'm on the radio right now at Sam 100.7 until 9 a.m. And then I'm on your TV tonight with an update on all of this as we're tracking that tropical system on News 40 at 5, 6, and 10. And of course, on your phone or device anytime using the News 40 weather app. Thanks for watching. Have a great day